Let's continue.
Okay, welcome back once again, team. So, starting off with our administration key things that we're going to discuss in this training session. Please keep yourself wide awake. As I said, this training is more of um, transactional communication, two-way communication. We all learn together. You give your feedbacks. There'll be group activities. So I need your full attention here. What I'm going to present and discuss. Okay. So these are the list of things that I'm going to present and discuss today. Our post cash drops, sales return, our end of day process, our daily sales reporting, daily banking, manual sales, PT cash reimbursement, float change money count, and the most important one, our inventory control, stock transfers, transfer in, transfer out, pending transfers, and then finally we're going to discuss on regarding shop consumables and fixed assets. So anybody can recall our last training that I was here on last year November regarding the workshop, what we started with? What we started with actually? When we started with our administration processes, highlighting of the key things. So there was something that we started with as a managers, we need to take that becomes part of your responsibility. Because currently as of now, we are missing that important element from all the managers in terms of administration. So that what I highlighted in my last training, that was November last year in our workshop. Deborah was there, Vagi was there, Magi was there. Can anyone recall? Yes, Magi. Okay, management checklist. Okay, we started off with ownership. So this time we're going to do a little deep dive down, and also with ownership, responsibility and accountability. So we'll play a short video. you play that one. You connect Bluetooth. Okay, I think it's connecting mine as well. You disconnect yours? Okay, you connect yours. You connect. Connected. Just play. You just play. Let's see if you can hear.
Discipline, it's genetics.
Everybody's trying to drive performance of their team, and everybody's having a everybody's trying to drive performance of their team, and everybody's having a tough time getting people to actually perform. I'm sure you're feeling the exact same thing. The question is, why? Because I think we look at it the wrong way. We're so focused on the responsibility piece, which we have to have. People need to know what they're going to be held accountable to. They have to have their responsibilities. Think about it in terms of a job description. We lay out everybody's responsibilities, and we should. But if all we focus on is on the responsibility and holding people to responsibility, and then we think about why they're not performing, they're not going to take ownership at that point. So we've got to give them responsibility. We've got to assign it, and we should. Accountability is the next piece. So many leaders are actually afraid these days to hold their teams accountable to the responsibilities they've laid out in the first place. And what happens if you give them the responsibility but don't hold them accountable? You're in essence telling people it's not as important as I said, so you don't have to do it. So anything I ask you to do at this point, you don't have to do because I'm not going to hold you accountable to it. So we've got to have the responsibility. We've got to hold them accountable to it. The third piece is the ownership piece. And this is what CEOs ask me about all the time. What I've even thought about all this time is, how do you get people to actually want to take ownership? And this is the key. You can assign a responsibility, as we've talked about, and you should. You can assign accountability, and you should, but you can't assign ownership. People need to take it, and in order to do that, you've got to create an environment where people want to take it, because you can't, by design, force it. Ownership is something that we choose to take, and as leaders, we've got to focus on one thing, and that's creating that environment, starting with responsibility, moving into accountability, but then creating a situation where people choose to give their best.
Do something different.
Clear on that? Responsibility versus accountability and taking ownership. You got the main objective of this video? Now, these three things are interconnected. They are line by line. You are assigning responsibility, and that with responsibility, you need to hold them accountable, and then they need to take their ownership. And then ownership is something that you cannot force to someone. It needs to come within. Now, that's what we talked about in our last workshop. As a managers, so what we saw, you are more of on the grounds. That is fine. That's a core role. But what we are lacking out is basically on the administration side of things. And administration for any business, it's the backbone. That's basically why we have administration team there. We have got a department there who are implementing processes, monitoring process, ensuring we abide by the company policies, company laws, the processes that we will implemented, so that the discipline is there and everybody is working towards that objective, that main vision, what we all as a team want to achieve. And without administration, any business cannot be successful. Even if you set up a small business, at the end of the day, you see what sales numbers have you done, where are the expenses, how you can do better sales numbers. what are the expenses they can cut off, and what is the end object. And with that end object, what are the compliance that we need to comply with the current governing laws. So that is something we as administration and finance team, we always look into on day-to-day basis. There are at times something new comes in, new, we align the process, we implement the process, we execute the process, and we get feedbacks, yeah, this is not working, then we go back and amend and see how we can improvise so it is fair to all the team members without any. The main idea is to achieve that efficiency. So currently what we see, we have looking at the recent cases, if you want to work as robotics, yeah, this is my department, this is my role, I'm looking after this. That's it. Basically my main role is to save the customers. Now with that, as a manager, which shop comes under your daily sales, reporting, handling of cash. Now with that also comes very important, which we are trying to streamline, and it is reached at a alarming stage, that is inventory. Right now, as of this year, we have a alarming figure of 1.3 million as a stock variance overall for JEX of PNG, and there are some shops yet to finalize on their stock take reports, and stock take is yet to happen. So just for a few shops, looking at the summary, the place we are standing at is 1.3 million. And looking at our sales against our budget for year to date, we are short by 3 million. Almost 3 million. That's 2.9. So something we all as a team need to look into. And the main reason why we are here today. Normally, we have workshops. In June, recently we had one, that the leadership, and then in November, we normally have another workshop, that is the management workshop. But now reflecting back, after despite so many leadership trainings, so many leadership skills, and now looking at recent cases and the numbers that has been coming up, it is not, something is not right. It is not effective. And that's why we have to organize this today. The main idea here for today is to basically highlight everyone on our administration processes. On the sales side, on the inventory side, Zana will be discussing on the inventory side of things, the new process that we have implemented regarding the sales orders, stock transfers. I got Shamim here today with me, who will be basically going out with me regarding the inventory controls, inventory processes that we have in place, and what are the key checks that we need to, do when doing inventory processes, basically receiving of stocks, clearing of TIPs. So you must be getting that pressure from your reporting manager, basically the operations manager, in terms of clearing your TIPs. And now it was a challenge for past 2 months. Now we have seen it is streamlined. But the main idea here is to how we can maintain that, and that is something that should come from within you. Either we want to motivate you just to create that spark so you can get it going, or if you have that discipline, then you can keep that going for a very long time. So what is greater, motivation or discipline? Do you need that little spark for you to start off and then it comes down again, or you have that disciplines that keeps you going forever and forever? Discipline, I agree with that. Motivation gives you that little spark, yes, to go, and that something come from your managers, from your leaders. But discipline is something that you have within you. We can have several workshops, we can have several trainings that can motivate you, but if you don't have that discipline to grasp what we are here to discuss and learn, and if you want to, if you don't have that discipline, that morals that we have, that we get from the early childhood, so it's nothing new. If that discipline is there, then you can see that your performance has been constant on a positive trend. But if you work on a motivation, yeah, you'll get the little spark, you go up and then you come down again. But that doesn't take you for a very long time. So from As leaders, we give you motivation, we work with you on day-to-day basis, we provide you best possible solutions, but if the discipline is not there within you, then we cannot always work as a team. And so discipline is there, then go for you'll have a very far journey and successful journey. So it's not only about motivation. Discipline, that something needs to come within you, and discipline is greater than motivation. Now, having said that, I'll proceed further. So as I said, motivation gets you started. Discipline keeps you going. Many people rely too heavily on motivation, which is unreliable. When motivation is inevitably dips, as it always does, dips mean going down. Discipline is what ensures progress continues, as I said. So you can take notes. So I'll share these slides with you later on. But what also I have learned in my previous trainings, there's nothing such as multitasking. We say multitasking is good, but multitasking is not good. As soon as you start writing, your brain focuses on writing. You lose the focus what we are discussing as a team. You can take down notes. I'll give you time to take down notes if you want to, but I'll also share my slides with you all after my session. So the first one which we'd like to start off today is regarding cash drop. I'm sure most of the admins here, managers here, may be or may not be knowing about how to process cash drops. It was highlighted by our group G, and it was surprising for him. In one of the projects that we recently completed, one of the manager was not able to execute cash drop process in POS, and that is something surprising. So that has been part of my agenda for this admin refresher in this training, and I'll go in detail. And if you have any questions, please do ask. It's gonna be a two-way communication. I'd love to hear feedback from your side as well, but I'll be discussing what I have to the best of my knowledge and what is good for everyone. So cash drop, again, initiate. You want to initiate a cash drop because you have got too much cash in your till. Let's say you have 5,000 in your till now, all hundreds, 50s notes. Now you want to initiate a cash drop. Initiate a cash drop, do the system posting, and then finally storing the cache, the actual cache. So now we'll go in this in detail. Next. In this in detail. Next. So this screenshot will put the correct details. It's written JY because Jax Wengani, 001 because it's the 001 pose. You can also enter 002 in pose 1, but that will be the transaction for pose 2, and that when you are doing end of day reconciliation, then you will have a mess. So it's very important which location you are choosing, state ID and terminal ID. Locations who are on live, you also have the access to do cash drops for other pose as well. So you need to be very vigilant and very accurate when we are doing end of day process or cash drops when doing in live. So basically Kokopo, Waterfront, Boroko, and for the other locations, we daily go through this process. That's Wengani, VC, Hagen, Medeng, Leh. So we need to ensure we input the right location and the right pose. Next is the amount of cash drop that you want to do. Now I'll be discussing on the later part why we want to cash drop and importance of doing cash drop. So at this stage, you initiate the amount of cash drop that you would like to do. So you enter it over here in this screen. So as you can see, Jax Wengani has done a cash drop of, sorry, the amount may be clear, the amount is 2,400. They are doing cash drop of 2,400. And with this cash drop, do you follow this process? Or you just take out the cash and take it back to the admin office? What do we do? We follow a daily case summary. So ensuring when we are doing end of day, we have got a clear record. And also at any point in time, if we don't feel this, basically the breakdown of the cash that we are doing, then we will be also facing difficulties when they are cash counts. And this is a very good, I would say a very detailed breakdown of the amount of cash drop that we are doing. And together, someone can highlight what is the other very important aspect there in that sheet. Yes, Bagi?
Cash control book.
Cash control.
Yes.
Anything else? On that particular sheet?
Yeah. Once that form is filled,
Yeah.
and it's in the same. Once that that DCS book is filled and the money is confirmed,
And once that form is filled, it's in the session control. Once that DCS book is filled and the money is confirmed, and once that form is filled,
Thank you, Sylvia. I'm looking for one of the other main thing there that is very important.
Okay, the very important part of that form, manually filled, is it's very detailed. What time, what day, who verified at what particular time, how much was dropped. So it's the manual part of the drop that is being, so it's via the system as well, but that's the manual form. So if you can detail from what city, it's city 1. I can. It's city 1 from post 1. The value from what particular location, the timing, the date, the people that verified actually. So it's very in detail. It's the important part of the information there.
Thank you, Deborah. The very main aspect here is the post details, and the other one is who is authorizing this cash. That's very important. It always needs to be done in the presence of a supervisor or a manager. And after that cash drop is done, it is safely taken back to the admin office to be kept in the safe. And that again is accompanied by the supervisor or the manager. So that part is very important. So now, as I said, why, people must be thinking, why do cash drop? Now, we have a fair idea that there must be a lot of cash in the till. That's why we're doing cash drop. But why? Why do cash drop, or importance of doing cash drop? It reduces. So now, as I said, why, people.
I'm trying to share on the cash drop side of it. Sorry.
why?
Sorry, Sylvia, we didn't get you. Okay, we will continue. So, importance of doing cash drop and why doing cash drop. Reduce risk and responsibility by regularly doing excess cash. Cashiers handle less money at any given time. Agree with that? Easier shift changes. Cash drops helps keep the till at a manageable level, making it simpler and faster to count and balance the drawer at the beginning and end of a cashier shift. This ensures a smoother handover between employees. Agree with that? So let's say if you are not doing any cash drop and you have whole bulk of cash sitting in your till and you are doing shift change, that will delay. And again, it can become messy when doing cash count. So it's important when it reaches that level, you need to do cash drop. So it becomes easy, as discussed earlier, reduces risk and responsibility and helps in shift change. The other one, improve accuracy with less cash in the till. It's easier for cashiers to manage their drawer and provide the correct change. Reducing the likelihood of errors, it also makes it simpler to identify any discrepancies during their shift. Correct? Now the other risk associated. Personal safety, very important for us, isn't it? Personal safety, while the primary security benefit is for the business, reducing the amount of cash in the till can also make a cashier less of a target in the event of a robbery. Yes or no? Robbers target who? People with more cash, isn't it? Accountability, documenting cash drops helps cashiers keep track of the money they have handled and any amounts removed, contributing to a clearer record of their transactions. This helps during the end of day process or no? When you have done cash drops, you already know what amount of cash drops you have done, and whatever amount is left, it is easier to count and balance or pause or cash drawer. Yes? Okay, next is sales return, but I'll discuss sales return later. I'll proceed with this post reconciliation and daily sales summaries. We'll come back to sales return once we have completed all our post related. Now comes our end of day process. Cash drawer count and reconciliation. So physically count all the cash in the till and cash drops, FPOS receipts and any other payment methods. What are other payment methods? Can anyone tell? Give voucher? Give voucher, checks? Thank you. So, the other groups, keep yourself active. We are going to have group activities in line with this, and everyone needs to participate and present in front. So, it's all related, what we are discussing right now. Complete the physical count to the POS systems, expected cash drawer for the till, investigate and resolve any discrepancies, overage or shortages, document the findings and any corrective actions taken, and prepare the cash for the deposit. This is the final thing that we do with cash. Next process, that is settlement of FPOS machines. Close batch or settle all credit and debit card transactions through the FPOS terminal. This ensures the transactions are submitted for payment processing. Print and review the settlement report to verify the total amount processed. We do this during the end of the shift, end of the day. Yes? Remember, settlement and audit report are not the same thing. The audit report is basically the detailed report of all the transactions, all the cards swiped in that particular machine, but settlement is basically the posting. If you don't do settlements, we're not getting any money. And we have had issues in that. Due to network error, due to negligence, overlook, the manager, the cashier, they do not do settlements. They use audit report to close their end of day, because it's all balance. But we fail to recognize that if you do not do settlement, the money is not coming in our account. And that is something always finance comes back to you. Where's the settlement copy? Where's the settlement copy? Where's the settlement copy? And the location comes back, here's the settlement copy. But that's not the settlement copy, it's the audit report. Settlement copy and the audit summary report, it's basically the amounts will the tie, but audit report is the breakdown of each card transactions, and settlement will do a summary of it. It will show number of cards swiped and the total amount. For Visa card, for local BSP, it will show separate, and for Westpac itself, it will show separate, and same will BSP machine will show. Total local Visa cards, they will give a separate summary. For overseas Visa cards, credit cards, it will show a separate summary, and for local debit cards, it will show a separate summary. Agree with me, Deborah? Okay. Now the final part, end of day reports. That is the Z report. Run end of day reports, generate and review key reports from the POS system such as sales summary, Z report, which shows total sales, payment methods, returns, discounts, and etc. Does the Z report show breakdown of the sales that by the tender type? How much cash, how much FPOS, how much gift voucher? Does it show? It does?
It does show the breakdown of what you enter via the system against manual.
So in the so you can speak in
Z report mainly shows what you enter from the manual to against the system. Yeah, it will also show if there's any variance. Yeah.
It will show the breakdown of tender types. Cash,
Yes, it does.
everybody in line? Everybody in line? We all on same page? Anyone feeling sleepy? Go out and have a face wash. All good? The main one, which retail shops managers fail to do at times. That is end of day verification or sign off. A supervisor or manager typically reviews all reports, confirms balances, signs of daily sales reconciliation, and the final one is reporting. We report where? Daily sales. Okay, thank you. WhatsApp and email. There's a group. We share our daily sales. Proudly sharing, we achieved our budget and the month-to-date budget and month-to-date sales. Past 2 days have been very positive, so let's maintain that trend. Okay, preparation of daily summaries and reporting. The daily summaries reports process is vital to keeping a business finances in order, ensuring the business has accurate records of financial reporting and reducing the risk of theft or errors. You have finance team coming back to you on this? What posting is actual in the system, what the daily summary says it's not matching? Yes? And then we go back and identify? Yes? There have been instances where we have come back to the cashier, no, this was not right, and unfortunately you are accountable for this. Agree? So Z of process must be finalized and the Z report generated. Any variances identified in the Z report must be substantiated with appropriate documentation. For example, variance of 1200 attributed to a staff loan should be supported by a signed TA document and clearly indicated in both the end of day and banking spreadsheet. Very important, signed TA. This is the key challenge right now, signed TA. TA part is all okay. The signed TA part, that's the major one. Yes? Sounds funny to hear, but practically it's a challenge. Isn't it? Very true? Thank you. And as I said, the FPOS machines for all the terminals, BSP in Westpac. Soon we'll be having other banks terminal as well. We are in the process of getting that. That will be Kina. And there are some enhancements done with our Westpac. We have started with Wengani. We'll slowly move it to other locations as well. That is POS integration. We'll discuss about that later. So one of the example, preparation of daily summaries and reporting. As you can see, this is the Z report. As I said, it's clearly showing the sales by the tender type. BSP says BSP checks. Why BSP? Because Vision City is banking with BSP. That's why it's maintained in the system for all the hard caches, BSP, and the actual swipes as well. So total swipes in BSP terminal 6,900. Total hard cache 1,100. And this is the system amount 1,700. Hard cache is 1,100, but system says 1,700. There's a variance of 617. When you did your end of day in your till, you only found how much? 1,100. But what does the system say? 1,700. The system doesn't know you have taken out a money for the TA. He wanted to do some marketing purchase. He requested for TA. Robot was in need of staff loan. We have given the TA, and that cash has been taken out, but system doesn't know. And that's why it's saying there variance of 617. Cash drop 2,800. So this shop was quite busy on that particular day, and that's why they have done cash drop of 2,800. Now it becomes very easy for them when they are reconciling their cash draw. Imagine counting 2,800 together with 1,700. Which one is easier? Doing cash drop 2,800 and count 1,700, or don't do cash drop, let's count all together. Cash drops, importance of cash drop. You can practically see now importance of cash drop. Yes or no? And the total sale is 10,800. Normally Vision City sale is not 10,800, but for some reason it was at 10,800. We go back, you're still there. So this part is very important when submitting your daily banking summary. What happens? We know the variance is there, location knows the variance is there, cashier knows the variance is there, supervisor knows the variance is there, but finance team doesn't know the variance is there. They know the variance is there, but they doesn't know the reason why the variance is there. We can work out, but it becomes easy if you clearly state why the variance is there. Yes? So, as you can see, the record is very clear. For this particular day, post 2, fully balanced, no issues. Post 1, there was a variance of 617, and that was because of the TA. And very important, the TA number is mentioned. For each TA, there is a unique sequence number. You will never see a TAE, two separate TAE with the same number, unless and until you photocopy the same one. But two separate TAs with separate amounts, each TA will have his own sequence number. And that's what they have mentioned. 617 short in hard cache, refer to TA. If they have only mentioned refer to TA, it becomes very hard for us. TA for which one? There are multiple TAs. We are giving TAs on daily basis. Multiple TAs are given out. At times what happens, due to the agency and looking at the operations, understanding the environment, and even some suppliers, they need immediate cash. Just like for now, we are trying to promote independence and do marketing for independence. And for the shop displays, we need to acquire few things from these market vendors, that is from the streets. They are not registered businesses like us, where they have shops and then we go send them a PO and then they'll issue a PO. We'll arrange the PO, we give them we request for a quotation, we get the purchase order, we send the purchase order and they release the goods. It doesn't work with this in terms of in these situations. We need to buy them upfront cash and then they will release. So now, since they have mentioned that till authorization, it becomes very easy. And now putting additional information, that is, they have clearly stated it is a staff wages. So it becomes very easy for finance when they are doing their reconciliation. They know, yeah, there was a TA given of this amount, 600, and this is the TA number, and it was relating with the staff wages. Next. End of day and case summary details must be completed. Have the allocation manager sign off on the banking records to ensure accountability. I will repeat that. End of day and case summary details must be completed. Have the allocation manager sign off on the banking records to ensure accountability. Very important. And this will be needed in the group activity coming up. JOP daily banking spreadsheet, which we just discussed, should be filled with all the details for hard cash, FPOS, manual gift card, Vision City voucher, and their gift card vouchers. This Vision City voucher is only applicable for Vision City. It's not happening in any other locations. So this Vision City is only applicable. Vision City voucher is only applicable for Vision City. Manual sales done, manual sales processing system, remittance advice for online sales processed, and TA serial numbers to be written in the remark section. All remittance advice copies and signed till authorization copies should be attached in the same email trail. Clear with that so far? Clear copies of the approved settlement for BSP and Westpac must be provided. If any manual sales are processed, the manual sales template must be updated and the cash should be deposited on the same day. But the sale is not processed in the system, it's just the manual sale. Should we hold the cash? Because that cash is giving us the variance. Should we hold the cash? And once it is processed in the system, then we will deposit. Should we do that? I'll let you use the mic so other participants can hear, joining us from outer stations.
It is safer during manual sale, all the cash, if cash has to be deposited on that very day. And then when the manual sale is being processed, can refer to the date of banking for the sale which has been deposited.
So you suggest banking to be done on the same particular day. When the cash is received, we do the banking on
Yes, on the safe side of the safety side. The cash is not being, it will be safer. It's already deposited.
Thank you. And I 100% agree with that. You all agree? Yes. With what Robert has just said? Make a deposit slip with the correct narrations and amount. We'll discuss in detail on that, narrations. Right? Deposit the cash, checks into business bank account, ensure that all deposits are made on the same day to avoid discrepancies. So if you're not doing the banking on the same day, regardless of the sale is processed in the system or no, as long as you're receiving the cash, should be banked on the same day. Right? Any cash. Receiving it's for the company, it's a sale of our inventory, you're getting the cash, should be deposited. And with the correct details, we can always go back and reconcile. But cash should be deposited. The main part. Ensure tail stamps the deposit slip. So now you must have seen finance has put in a process a very mandatory that just for evidence purpose, for that our checks and verification and vetting, we need the stamped deposit slip. At times when we question, has the banking been done? Then you say, yeah, it's done, this is the slip. But that's not a valid slip. That means banking is not yet done. The banking has been prepared but not yet done. It has not been deposited. The bank has not yet accepted our cash. As soon as you take the cash with your deposit book over the counter to the bank, once they receive, confirm the stamp, that means yes, it has been accepted by the bank. and it will reflect in our bank statement, which finance can see, vet and reconcile. Yes? See, this acts as a proof of deposit is accepted by the bank. Next. So as I was saying regarding the settlement copy, you see the first one is the audit report. This is the settlement for Westpac and this is the settlement for BSP. It's clearly written here, settlement, at the bottom it's written approved. Nowhere here it states it has been approved or posted, it is just giving the details of each and individual transaction. But settlement, it clearly states settlement and at the bottom approved. Total sales, total refunds, cash out and net total. And same for BSP. It clearly says settlement, at the bottom it says settlement confirmed. This is not handwritten, this is machine printed. And you can say, yeah, settlement is done. That amount should reflect in the bank statement. Exactly the same amount, nothing up, nothing down. And then it becomes for us very easy to reconcile and confirm, yes, settlement has been done and it is reflecting in our bank statement. We have got the cash. Sold the inventory, got the cash. Fair deal, isn't it? Yes, Miro? Okay. Next. Case study. Already? Okay, we'll go through what we have just discussed and we can know we have got some senior cases in all the groups. We got Debra here, we got Romelda there, we have Vagi there, so all good. So we refer to the case study, David. So scenario 1, Jack's Vision City was quite busy last Saturday, managed by a group GM who assisted time to time on stock refilling and assisting the cashiers to minimize the queue at the cashier counter. Yes? They recorded a total sales of 66,204, 93 Toya. Refer below breakdown of the sales as per the system. 2 POS operated last Saturday. POS 1, POS 2. Tender type breakdown, cash, BSP, Westpac. That's the system report. That's basically cash drawer reconciliation we are getting, what all actuals are there. Now, whilst doing the end of day and reconciling the cash drawers, POS 1 was fully balanced, actual versus system, no issues. However, POS 2 cash drawer had minor variances. Kindly note, a till authorization was attached with end of day of POS 2 amounting to 2,100. Refer below actual versus system and do the following. This is the reconciliation for POS 2. This is the actual and this is system. Now you need to identify what's the issue here. What's the issue? What is the reason and what is your suggestion? Have a relook at the scenario, the case study and the questions. All clear? Anybody needs any clarification? Outer stations? I'll give you 15 minutes for this exercise, and then we'll come up and present group by group. We'll see the scenarios, we'll see how you identify the issue, the reasons, and the suggestions.
Hello.
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 Yes, Rachel.
Zenith, just one question
Yes.
regarding the test code. Yes. So normally, basically, in the live, we normally do test drops, right? And I've seen that the one you presenting, it was in the local server. But when we do test drop for in the live, like what we normally do, we just write it manually, and then we don't enter it in the system, but we just put it as a hard cache here. Right. So what's the initial for the cache drop? I believe some of them would know, because when we put the heads, hard cache comes out here. But what's the initial for the cache drop here?
Thank
So
you.
we can just enter it at the same time and then put it inside.
Thank you, Russell. There is an option in live as well. Once Timothy just went out, once he's back, he'll basically explain you that, and I also have the details on step by step of it, how we are doing cache drop. Chantal is also here. She'll basically give you a breakdown how we are doing cache drop in live pause.
Okay. Thank you.
The live, it's the cache drop that we do. It's just the same as the locals, but when it comes to live, when you do the cache drop, automatically it will minus from the total sales. It will definitely minus. But it's the same when it comes to Z report. It will show in the system that we have done a cache drop. If we didn't enter a cache drop, then it will not show. But when it comes to the total sales, you will see it on the system that it will be minus. Thank you.
Thank you, Chantal. Russell, I'll send you steps in detail. How Waterfront and Boroko team is doing cache drop, and I have actually seen and we have worked together with Timothy and Chantal last week, Thursday, how we actually do cache drop in live. So there isn't any manual process for cache drop. There is a system for cache drop, and that should be followed. So currently, what you are doing manual, and basically that will add up to more of your administrative task when you are doing your end of day reconciliation. So I'll send you a step-by-step details how we do cache drop in live. So as of now, everybody's attempting to this cache drop, to this case study. Can you put that on screen, Dixon? This group activity. So for Vision City, pose 1, there's no issues, but pose 2, there are some variances. So as of now, for pose 2, there are some variances, and we need to identify the issue, the reasons, and your suggestions. And we do the banking sheet after after our presentation. Okay, I have assigned 15 minutes for this activity. Discuss in a group. I know we have a mixed group where we have corporate staffs, we have warehouse staffs. So share knowledge and contribute. Everybody contribute towards this activity. And if you are not sure of anything, you can always ask.
So David and Vagi, from your side, that group, I would want to know how POS was balanced, because I'll tell you a real situation that happened and which would sort of lead to a POS not being balanced. So what happened in practice, we are running two POS, POS 1 and we are running POS 2. There was a time when POS went down. You know? So all money transactions coming in, transaction coming in. If everything goes through, you will end up your POS balancing. SWAP was busy. So what they did, they started to log POS 1, they started to log with user POS 2. So the money is coming in, all the takings is coming in to POS 1, physical POS 1, but whereas sales transaction is being recording to POS 2. You know? So on that day's balancing, the real scenario would have been POS 1 would have shown a surplus of the transaction that has been recorded on the POS 2, and POS 2 would have a short, and they would compensate for the period we operated. I'm not sure how POS 1 is balanced. You know? So David and Vagi, that group, you probably in your presentation, try to explain how POS 1 got balanced on that day. It's out of my comprehension. You know? So can you sort of elaborate on this situation? That was the practical thing that happened on that particular day. And reconciliation should have shown a surplus in POS 1, a short in POS 2. Explanation that we were POS 1 was down, shop was busy, user logged as POS 2. I was just clarifying with Dixon, can it lead to transaction drop? He has confirmed it will not lead to transaction drop, but it will create this physical scenario. You know? We'll still have to dwell in what happens if transaction goes at the same time, because system would get confused which transaction to write, but Dixon is confirming that system would pick up all the transactions that's coming through. You know? So that's resolve what happens at the back end. But that should have resulted in this scenario, up in POS 1 or down in POS 2. So just explain, I want to understand how did POS 1 got balanced? You know?
So as of now, team.
Okay, so sorry, I just Vinit just mentioned that that's not the actual numbers. I just asked him to reconfirm the reconciliation for the day. I was thinking that that's the actual numbers. So Vinit would just reconfirm on that.
So we'll work on this, and then what Avi has said, we'll need to work on that again and provide a justification how we have balanced our both posts for that day. But these numbers, the sale number is actual, but the post which I have done, that's a makeup number, okay? So we need, that's why I didn't want to put Jack's Vision City, but just to get a practical, that picture, that's why we are using our location names. So nothing to take it personally, but based on that numbers, you need to identify the issue, reasons, and your suggestions. So post 1 is balanced, but there are some variances in post 2, and I have already given the clear breakdown of actual versus system for post 2. So you need to identify the issue, your reasons and suggestions. Another 7 minutes. And then we finalize and present. Remember, it's not only identifying the issue, it's about the reasons and your suggestions as well. We have to complete 3 parts. Issue, the reasons, what are the possible reasons, and your suggestions.